Hey there, Squirrel Army! It's time to do another precon upgrade guide from the Commander Masters set. This is the Enduring Enchantments precon deck. Alright, so I've already talked about these commanders, so I'm not going to really go through it again with these. If you want a more detailed look, I've got the videos that I did on these coming up in a little bar above there, so you can go and check that out and see what I thought about this commander and what kind of deck you want to build around with this kind of thing and what this commander sort of does and that sort of thing. So we're just going to move on. Alright, so here's the deck list. I've already had a bit of a look through it. It's not too bad of a list. As I say, they actually put a lot of effort nowadays into these lists. Anyway, as I say, you guys can easily find this list by just Google searching for it. So this is what I was working with to upgrade this deck. The main focus that I tried to upgrade this deck with in mind was sort of our commander is a value engine. We're not a specifically mill deck. We're not really doing that. If we can loot or discard things into our graveyard at choice, then there's more to it than that. I don't think you want to mill because you never know what you're gonna mill unless you're milling everyone and you're progressing your own game plan by milling people out in other ways or, you know, getting some kind of other advantage, which there are some in this deck of, you know, stealing people's stuff from graveyards or exiling their stuff or whatever, that sort of thing. So that's the sort of thing that we're actually looking for. And we're just looking at our commander to say, hey, our stuff has menace, and once every now and again, if we want, we can bring stuff back and then it'll go away again, but we're not too worried about stocking our graveyard specifically to, you know, do this whole thing. So if you want to see a more graveyard stroke milling style of deck, just let me know. Write your wants down there in the comments below, and I definitely will do it that way if you wanted to have it done that way. But for this specific deck, we're going more on just trying to do good things and have good enchantments. You can join the Squirrel Army by subscribing. Here we are. This is the finished list. As I say, guys, if you aren't super interested in me explaining more of what's going on with the deck and the cards that I'm cutting, the cards that I'm putting in, go check out the deck list in the comments and you can do what you will with that. Alright, so now we're looking at what I suggest that you take out. Now, not every card here is horrible per se. I just didn't feel like they all added to the strategy specifically or gave us the agency in which to fulfill our deck strategy, more or less. So I'm gonna go through them as quickly as I can. Arasta, yeah, just we're too over-reliant on our opponents doing stuff with it. It's an okay 3/5 reacher that isn't an enchantment, and maybe it'll draw us cards, but we can get that effect or these style of other effects on other cards. So and we can have agency over our own effects. So rather than this, we'll just pick something else. I'm not going to talk about lands because they're all meh and mostly just bad tap lands, but whatever. Except for maybe Ash Barrens, but I think you've got pretty decent fixing in the deck. Even a couple lands that I'm not super hot on, but whatever. Anyway, Arcane Signet. We have a lot of ramp in this deck. So we don't really need a lot more. Plus, it's not an enchantment, nor cares about enchantments, so just out. Calyx, it's too little. It never does a whole lot of enough. A lot of planeswalkers, unless you can activate them a couple of times, you're never going to get enough value out of them. So most of the time, it's not really worth it. Unless they've got a static ability of some sort that's really good or something. They just don't really cut it. The Culling Ritual, it's not a bad Wrath. We've got some other pretty decent Wraths. I think this was one of the better cards that I did cut. But I did have to make some cuts, so we already had a bunch of, like, removal and Wraths, and it was more on a theme, so I just thought this didn't really fit and doesn't really do a whole lot. Dread Horde, the one token getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, okay, but I think we can just do better. And it is one of those things that, people will kill it. And the body that it might leave behind isn't often that impressive. Doesn't have any evasion. Yeah, can have lifelink, but still not really that amazing. I never find that it's that good. Farseek, we've got enough ramp. We don't really need it. So yeah, Kadama's Reach, same thing. Don't really need it. Nyx Weaver, like I said, the direction that I was going with this list wasn't we're gonna mill and we're gonna stock our graveyard. I was going, we needed agency and able to make decisions on what we're doing. There is still some mill sort of stuff in here, but yeah, I just decided this wasn't what we're doing specifically, but it's not horrible. It does return stuff, but you got to exile it. So I don't know, not horrible, but still not really our main game plan. Omen, just too one-offy. I don't really think it does enough for our overall game plans. Yes, it can draw us cards too. It has flash. It can be some nice chump blockers, and it can make us scry, but not enough, I don't think. Rampant Growth, we got enough ramp here, so we don't really need it. Mending, it does return our stuff, or it does return our lands, but I don't think that's enough for us to really warrant it. If we're in a Saga deck or we're in a Graveyard deck, then it'd be a little bit more of a pick, but I don't think we're in either of those, so I just don't think us milling is really enough of our game plan. We want more effect on and control on what we're doing and what we're getting. We don't want this. The cards that I decided to add, I only added 11 cards. I did add some basic lands besides this, but it's very, easy to add a couple forests and, I think it was 3 forests, 2 swamps, and 2 plains. So it's very easy to do that. So yeah. But yeah. Weaver of Harmony, Daxos Return, Grim Guardian, Calyx, Guided by Faith, Gravebaker Lamia, Karamatra, God of Harvest, Thought, Treader Lamia, Shelvrick Alliance, Blight Obedience, Prayer Binding, and Hallowed Haunting. Those are the cards that I decided to add into this list. They all felt like they added something to the list that perhaps we might have or might not have, but we sort of just need more of this sort of stuff. So I felt like this broadened what we were trying to do, and I think it's made the deck a lot better. It's given it a lot more sort of stuff to work with. It's not perfect. There's some cards in here that aren't really the best, but they still are okay enchantments. So they can do stuff and they do have some utility. So they're not the worst. So I think you can get by with this. If you also want to go down the sub-commander route, it's obviously a lot different. So yeah, there's a lot there to be thought about with this deck. And I do want to do the sub-commander. At some point, I'll put that poll up on the channel here at some point. Unfortunately, I've been a bit busy, but so this is the way of it is. But anyway, that is it for this one. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and you guys can always let me know your thoughts down there in the comments below, and hope to see you in the next one.